Hey, what's up YouTubers? Today we're taking a look at the SOTAC L4G24. I'm going to apologize in advance for the video quality here. I'm just filming off my cell phone. Not really a professional YouTuber or anything, but I thought I'd make a video about this mount just because there's not much information about it online. And the stuff we do see is mainly the FMA L4G24 and not really the SOTAC brand. So I thought we'd just take a look at it today, and maybe it'll help someone else out and not be such a gamble for your purchasing decisions. So before we get into this, this is probably more for people who live outside the US and are looking for kind of quality night vision mounts to mount their binoculars to their helmets, and are looking for kind of a dovetail mount that isn't going to break the bank, but isn't necessarily kind of a Wilcox legit brand mount, but something you can still rely on and is good quality nonetheless. So you guys in the US, if you're watching this video, probably just buy a regular Wilcox mount, but for the guys outside the States, if you can't really find that, and sometimes they're double the price, maybe 700 euros or so, then maybe this is up your alley. So right off the bat, I've got this SOTAC L4G24 mounted to my Neurotos Universal Shroud here, which is a legit mount, and this is just on my FMA carbon ops core bump. So I started off, I guess, with it mounted to helmet, just because it's going to be a pain in the ass to mount it on camera. But as you can see, the lockup's solid. I mean, there's no rocking at all. I do have it in the non-breakaway position, because when you do put it in the breakaway position, there is a little bit of wobble. And that's just because when you do set the breakaway position, it actually retracts the mounting shoe about halfway or a quarter of the way, and I'll show you that when I take it off. So I would recommend probably leaving it in the fully locked position and just, maybe not jumping out of helicopters or airplanes if you're using this replica mount. So yeah, if it's in a fully locked position, the lockup's solid, no qualms there. I don't think it would ever eject unwittingly, so that's good. So let's take it off the mount here. As you can see, it just came off like that pretty easy. I'm just gonna put the helmet away, and then we can take a look at the mount itself. All right, so here's the mount. As you can see, the color, I mean, I've never seen a real L4G24, but the color, from what I can tell, based on the picture online, compared to the real Wilcox, is a little more like bronzy brownish than the kind of matte tan that the Wilcox mount has. You could probably only notice that super up close. And as for trades, it's kind of very similar to the FMA one, where you've got everything looks pretty legit except for this X here on the Wilcox. On the real Wilcox one, the X kind of has like it doesn't fully form the X. There's some like arrow points on the X letter, whereas this one, it's kind of like a conjoined lines. That's the best way I can explain it. You might have to look it up online to see and look at the real Wilcox lettering and compare it to this one. But from far away, it looks pretty legit, and when it's on your helmet, it looks fine. So I'm not really like an impression guy, so that doesn't really matter to me. I'm probably more worried about the lockup and its actual function. Another thing about the color is these plastic pieces, the tilt adjustment and your height adjustment, just like the FMA. And I wonder if these all come from the same factory. This color of the plastic brown is a lot more brown than the legit Wilcox. So let's actually go into the function of this mount here and take a look at, you know, kind of the pros and cons. So when I first got it, actually, the actual mounting shoe piece, or, you know, this fore and aft device, there was some, what's it called, lateral play. Like if you move it from up and down here between the teeth on, you know, this rail and this kind of shoe, there was some movement. But like the real Wilcox mount, there's these two Allens here, and I think they're around 0.5 inch, or sorry, 0.5 mil, something like that. And you can tighten those down, and basically what those do is they go straight down and impact this bridge, and they'll remove any play between the shoe and the bridge. So there's basically zero wobble here now. I mean, I don't think I can even wobble it for you guys right here to see. So that's great. I mean, it's solid. And for the actual up and down motion of this arm, when it's in the stowed position, there's no wobble whatsoever. And when it's fully retracted, there's no wobble. So that's mainly what we're looking for replica night vision mount, in that it locks up tight to your shroud and there's no wobble in the stowed and deployed position, which is pretty good for a replica mount. I think this was around $60 US. So, you know, opposed to the $400 US Wilcox mount, I think for those guys outside of the States, this is probably a decent buy. But I would always recommend, you know, tying up your nods to your helmet. So if this ever does come off, or let's say your J-arm releases from the shoe, then you're not going to lose your expensive device. So some other things that I did to this mount was I applied a bunch of lube, because when you get this mount, it's stock dry. It's dry basically, and it's not really like the smoothest when you're deploying it and undeploying it. So you can see here, it's buttery. So what I did was I used some of this Tech T Gundrops Premium Lube, which is like a paintball silicone based lube. It's like a grease almost. And I just put that in this kind of plunger here. A bunch of it in the plunger, some inside here, so the actual dovetail release kind of bayonet thing there, as well as in the actual mounting tooth. And you know, after working it back a bunch of times, it feels a lot smoother than when I first got it. So I definitely would recommend people do that when they get these replica mounts. And I don't know if the real Wilcox, you know, comes lubed, but you know, it's just something to keep in mind. If you can, you might as well. So I'll show you, actually, yeah, I did mention about the breakaway feature here. So it does have breakaway, so we can see here, this tooth here, it's fully fully deployed. And if we move it into the breakaway, it kind of, you know, retracts halfway. So when it does that, it's not fully engaging, you know, your shroud. And I think probably the spec is not close to where it's supposed to be, which is why you get the wobble. And I haven't tried actually breaking it away, this mount from the shroud. So I can't actually tell you if the breakaway feature works, because to me, this is just a straight shear force on your shroud, and I don't really want to do that unless I have to. So there's that. But other than that, guys, I would totally recommend it if you're looking to do it on a budget. So we'll show here, this is a tier 1 J-arm, and I can do another video on that later, but I'll just lock it in here. And there's absolutely zero wobble when it's engaged with the SOTAC L4G24. So that's generally what we're looking for. You know, it's functional, cheap, and it locks up tight. Yeah, so if you guys have any comments or questions, let me know. If you don't want to see any other stuff, airsoft stuff, just drop a comment in there. I'll try my best to respond to your comments. This was a little bit of a long video, but please be patient with me. This is my first airsoft video and kind of review, so I thought it would help you guys, or someone who is like in my position. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed, and have a good day.